One of the things I love to eat during tailgating is chicken wings. I like all kinds of flavors. Today we're gonna make it quick and easy. Carolina barbecue sauce. We're gonna do a tequila and lime, and we're gonna do a really dynamite Asian. Now, how do we make this easy? Well, you take the frozen chicken wings that you get at the store, pop them in the oven, and cook them at home. Cool them down, and then bring them with you come game time. Now, all I'm gonna need to do with these is throw these bad boys on the grill, heat them up, and when they're done, drop them into the sauce of choice. So I've got my wings ready, time to make the sauces. Now, the first one we're gonna work on is gonna be the Asian. These resealable bags work perfect. I like to get the freezer version because they're a lot sturdier. To start off with a little bit of soy sauce and some honey, lime juice. Roll that lime out, make sure you get all the juice from it. Some orange juice. You want to see an orange juice press. Fresh grated ginger, chili garlic sauce for a little bit of heat, a little sesame oil, just a touch, oregano, a little cumin, a touch of cayenne, a little granulated garlic, last but not least, some oyster sauce. Kind of mix this all up together. Now it's time to make the delicious tequila lime. Some lime juice. Fresh is better. Some tequila, some agave nectar for a little sweetness, a little lime zest, and the real lime flavor comes out of the zest. A little cumin, chipotle peppers, smoked jalapeno peppers that sit in a sauce called adobo, which is kind of a spicy tomato sauce. Just a touch of that. A little black pepper, a touch of salt. Dynamite flavors. With that agave syrup on there, it's gonna be delicious. Now we're gonna make one of my favorites, the Carolina barbecue sauce. A little bit of sweetness and a lot of vinegar. Start this off with some ketchup, some red wine vinegar, a little red chili flake, some chipotle sauce for the adobo, a little dried mustard, some granulated garlic, just a little bit of sugar. Give it a little mix. Made ahead of time, Carolina barbecue sauce, the tequila lime, and the Asian. So with these all made at home and wings in hand, all you need is a hot grill and you're on. So check that out. Now reheated and these are ready to go. Good stuff. Now for those great sauces that we made ahead of time. Here's the Asian. About a third of these wings are gonna go in here. Take a look at that. Look at all that flavor. The tequila lime with a little bit of that chipotle. You should smell this. Now the Carolina barbecue. So there we go. 4 dishes, quick and easy, made them at home, brought them to the tailgate, heated them up, and tell me that's not money. My pimento cheese stuffed burger on a toasted brioche bun, stacked high with a fried heirloom tomato, homemade ranch dressing, crispy bacon, and a cabbage slaw. The key to great pimento cheese is starting off with great cheese. So I've got some cheddar here, about half and half, the white and yellow cheddar. Looks good. Now we'll get in with the pimentos. Now, you can make your own pimentos, you can buy your pimentos, you can add as many as you want. I'm gonna go with maybe a half a cup, touch of some salt, pepper, a little bit of cayenne. Again, this is kind of where you wanna go with it. Cream cheese, a little mayo, and a little Dijon. It's just gonna pulse it, bring it together, scooping this out. Just getting a roll on it. Okay, about 2 inches in diameter is what we're looking for. Give it a little twist. Right like that. Voila. Okay, take this, lay it down in the fridge. And while I'm in the fridge, a little buttermilk. Little dill. Let's get into this. Little buttermilk. Some sour cream. Little mayo. Now, before I bring in the spices, let me grab a little bit of sugar. Gotta have a little bit of that sweet. Okay, offsetting some of the big spices that are coming in right now. Okay, let's start off with a little garlic, a little onion powder, and some smoked paprika. Let me get a touch of some salt and some black pepper. Now, a little cayenne, just a touch of heat. There we go. Okay, now this is the real kicker. This is what makes everything that you love about ranch dressing really comes from this, and that's the dill. About 3 tablespoons. There we go. Give it a little whisk. That's exactly what we're looking for. Seeing that nice, beautiful green just studded throughout that. All right,
Let me cover this up real quick. Okay, this goes down in the fridge. So here's the next piece. We're gonna talk about green tomatoes, fried green tomatoes. It's something you see in the South everywhere you go, but I couldn't find any green ones. So, well, I just went with a really nice firm heirloom tomato. But nonetheless, it's gonna be fantastic. So putting it into a dredge here, first start off with a little flour with a little granulated garlic. Then went into a little buttermilk and egg with a little salt and pepper, and then some fine cornmeal here with a little salt and pepper. Set this aside, just gonna set that down, unwrap it. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna make 4 burgers, but 8 patties. So the first thing I'm gonna do is cut that in half, dividing that equally into 4, okay? Now I'll just divide this one, that one. Now everybody's got kind of an equal amount, right? Here's what we do. Take the patty, not pressing it too hard. Nice patty, firm edges. Doing this ahead of time. See this little move that I'm doing here with my thumb? Check this out. So I take the patty, and then I'm bringing my thumb in to really establish the edge. So I'm not having this little flimsy edge where it's kind of just tapering off, and those are the ones when you cook them and they just kind of end up falling into the fire. Okay, here we go. So there's one done. Here we go, we'll grab some of the pimento cheese. Might be a little bit heavy. There we go. Drop it right in the center. Now, bring in the other one over, right on top, mirroring it. Gonna give it a little pinch, bring in the meat together, and then back to that same little technique that I just did, where I'm gonna come and establish the edge again. So really brought them together, really formed them together, kind of pushed it, and then straight across. It's even in the middle. Drop the burger. Now, normally when you've seen Guy's Big Bite, I'm pressing burgers. You go to Guy's Burger Joint on Carnival Cruise Line, I'm pressing burgers. You go to Guy's Vegas, I'm pressing burgers. But when it comes to a stuffed burger, we're gonna treat it nice and delicate so we don't break it open, so we don't lose all the surprise inside. Not overcrowding it. 4 would be the max I'd wanna do. Simply just a little bit of salt. And then when I flip it, I'll season the other side. Now we'll go ahead. There we go, those are the bubbles that I'm looking for. Again, don't crowd it. You're gonna drop that oil temperature. Now we're gonna talk about the buns. Nice brioche bun. Everybody's still conscious about eating all those carbs and eating the bread and so forth. I'll tell you what, when you're gonna do it right. Now I've got some roasted garlic butter here. Just gonna brush that on. Now let's talk about bacon. So here's the method. Take the bacon and just shingle it a little bit, okay? And we're gonna go from a cold pan, cold bacon, throw it in the oven, and we're gonna get those nice, uniform, evenly cooked pieces of bacon that we love that we find in restaurants. Okay, so this goes, lay it down. So here's the game plan. Take this, pop it in the oven, should be about 350. It'll give us beautiful bacon. And this, just as a little homage to my mom in North Carolina, that's where she was raised. Make a quick little slaw here, some nice vinegar. Just wilt this thinly sliced cabbage down. If I tried to sit here and cook this on the stovetop, by the time I cooked all the way through, I would have a 1/4 inch on both sides of just crunchy beef. The idea to cook it all the way through to really get that great flavor, we want to go ahead and finish it in the oven. So I finished it in the wood fire oven, finish it in your oven at 350. Either way, you're good to go. So we'll build a burger, little thin sliced onion on the bottom. Now, it's leaking a little bit of the pimento cheese. Fantastic, it shows you it's done. But this looks like mine right here. Lay that up on top. A little unripe heirloom tomatoes, that goes on top. Let's get some of the ranch dressing on top of that. Nice pieces of bacon, we'll throw that up on top. A little bit of that quick pickled slaw that I did. Look at that thing, huh? Right, let's cut into this thing and take a look at it. Nice brioche bun, going right through. Tell me that's not the cover of a magazine. Here we go. There's so many textures, so much flavor. I've got some leeks that I'm gonna be sauteing here in a second with some cremini mushrooms, but I'll show you this little leek technique. Remember, when the leek grows, it's growing up like this, so the opportunity for sand and dirt and everything to fall down into those crevices is really happening. So what we want to do is I cut mine. Makes it a little bit easier to clean. And then I'll just give them a quick little chop, drop them into the water. I can swirl them around with my hand and just kind of wash them like that, or rinse them, I should say. Some people leave the rounds together, but what I find is that if the rounds don't get completely broken apart, you have a chance of getting yourself some sand and some dirt into it. So this is all gonna come together. Well, I'll just do it with my hand. This is all gonna come together for a fantastic stuffed potato skin. And actually, I gotta drop some of the potato skin, so let this settle down here for a second. Some baked potatoes, just left with about a 1/4 inch interior right there. Salted them before I roasted them. And we'll drop them in 350-degree oil. And yes, I want these to almost get like a hollowed out French fry, okay? Almost potato chip like, because we're gonna be throwing in some brie cheese, prosciutto, and some mushrooms and all that. Drop these in. Set this aside. Creminis, my favorite. I'm telling you, one of my favorite mushrooms. I can't say it's absolutely my favorite, but it definitely is one of the best. Really nice and meaty, lots of really defined mushroom flavor, and we're gonna cook these down with these leeks. It'll work out perfect. Okay. Bring it right over. Drop these in, and you know what this needs here is just a little touch of thyme. I got some fresh thyme standing by. That's all gonna cook down together. Throw a little more heat on it, and all the thyme comes out together, and just the leaves of the thyme, okay? I know this seems a little bit more refined than you're thinking game day food. Now, the skins, like I said, you have leftover potatoes. What are you gonna do with them? Well, we're gonna put a little bit of mushroom mixture in there with the leeks, okay? So we'll crumble a little brie in there. And then what would be the next thought? Okay, yeah, prosciutto. There's gonna be some Italian cold cuts for sure. So look at this. There you go. Some nice prosciutto, thinly sliced. We'll just tear off a few pieces, lay it right up on top. That'll get nice and crusty, kind of like bacon. So I'll knock these out, fill them up, pop them in the oven, let them melt one more time. Whoa, coming over hot. Look at those bad boys, huh? That's potato skins like you've never seen before. Cook these potatoes, scooped them out, deep fried them, filled them with some cremini mushrooms and some leeks, then a little brie, of course. But look at this, mushrooms, brie, prosciutto. So what I'm gonna do right now is I got some green cabbage going down and a little bit of shredded carrot. That's about good. I'm trying to eyeball it, I'll slice enough. But here's the key, is I've got some ginger, some garlic, a little bit of red onion, some red bell pepper, all working with some chicken here. Little bamboo shoots were in here as well. Hit a little bit of soy sauce on top of it. And I'm gonna put this semi-warm mixture, probably, it's about room temperature, but kind of wilt this mixture of vegetables underneath it. Now, the great thing about egg rolls, you can make them any way you want them. You wanna throw in a ton of veggies, great. It's one of my favorite things to make for my sister when she comes over, being that she's a vegetarian, and I gotta kinda, accommodate, right? Okay, so this is down. Little water on there. So these are gonna sit here and kind of mix up, and it wilts the cabbage a bit. When you wilt the cabbage, you really turn into a good opportunity of being able to roll the egg rolls better. So I need some egg roll skins. Let's see here. Egg roll skins, some milk, some eggs, and for my spring rolls, my shrimp spring rolls, some shrimp. And I've got some water work in there, but I'm not gonna do those quite yet. So let me get the skins down. Couple eggs. This is gonna be kind of a wash that holds the egg roll together as it works, or as it, fries. Otherwise, you can do it with a toothpick if you've got some deal with eggs you don't wanna go through. So those in, a little bit of leche, a little bit of milk. There we go. Let me give this a little whisk. Great binder this is. Now, sometimes if you're really having difficulty getting the egg roll to stay together, I've seen people take the egg roll and actually submerge it in this egg wash. I don't quite go that far. I'll show you my little technique here in a second. Okay, that. Keep these, if you're making a bunch of these, keeping a kind of a damp towel on top of them will help them from drying out, because once they start drying out, they don't stick together too well. Okay, just pull a few out. Now, this is how I party. I throw it a little bit down like this. That's toward the back of it. I grab a couple pieces of avocado, like that. Reach in here, grab some of that mixture of the cabbage and the chicken, like that, with a little bit of the carrot. So over once, over twice. Get it up over there. Now keep all those pieces in, because if they start poking out, well, those are the ones that, that keep it from binding up well. Okay, just like that. Hold it down just a little bit. Make sure it doesn't come apart on you. There we go. That one down in. There we go. So, what do you like with your brats, huh? I like it all. Peppers and onions are the key, though, okay? So we'll do some peppers, some onions, and some garlic. Get this moving around. I chopped that bacon up a bunch because I want it to kind of render down fast, and I want all of that great bacon flavor to dissolve into this mixture. So, green bell, red bell, big onion, peppers, onions, bacon in, get a couple cloves of garlic. I've got enough moisture in there, I don't have to worry about this really burning. And I'm also just gonna give these a quick little chop. And in a second, I'll deglaze this with some beer once it starts to caramelize up. Now we're into the peppers, the onions, the bacon. We're right at that point where we can go ahead and hit this with a little deglaze, and we'll grab ourselves a couple lagers. Now, you got your favorite kind of beer you like to cook with. Like I said, I just want to make sure that the beer that I'm cooking with isn't going to overpower. It's going to complement. Okay, so we get in with a little bit of lager. One. That I learned in school. Okay. You could just smell the hoppiness of that going on right now. Now we'll get in with some chicken stock. I got some fresh herbs over here, some thyme, some rosemary. Okay, throw a couple sprigs of that. Not that much. Remember, rosemary's super strong. So rosemary, thyme, and of course, this wouldn't be complete without a little bay leaf. So look at this. Look at those bad boys right there. Gorgeous, okay? Now this is something you're not gonna see me do often, but I'm gonna do it here and I'll explain why. I'm gonna poke these with this skewer all the way through these sausages. What I want this to do is, while it cooks, I want the sausage to share its flavor in this braising liquid with these veggies, and I want the veggies to share their flavor with the brats, okay? So those look pretty good. I'll just put these back in the no, come on. See people do that. Okay, let me grab a pair of tongs. Submerge them down in the liquid. Remember, we got the chicken stock, bacon, the two bottles of lager in there, the peppers, the onions, the rosemary, the thyme, the garlic. I mean, the flavor profile that's going on in here is nuts. Everybody's in, maybe 15 minutes, we'll be in good shape. Now I'm gonna pull them out, let them cool a bit, slice them, and then throw them on the grill to build some awesome texture. Just give them a quick little slice. It's like 1, 2, 3, roll it. 1, 2, 3. Sausage or grilling, I can shut these down and actually start pulling them off. I braised them in the liquid, then I pulled them out, let them cool a little bit, sliced them, grilled them to get that extra little charred texture. Final piece here, make sure my heat's off. We're gonna get in some whole grain mustard. Now this was my braising liquid. We started with bacon, rendering that down. Then we had peppers, onions, garlic. Then we threw in some thyme. I mean, we had beer going there too. We had 2 bottles of lager. Put all this butter in there as well. Outrageous. A little parsley going in here. Here's the brats. So they kind of shared their juices with this. So you've got cooked down onions and bacon and these herbs and everybody together. Now, ready? First we'll go down with a couple sausage. Hit a little bit of this mixture of the cooked down onions and peppers. The bacon, the peppers, onions, you cook that down, you could put it on anything. You got a big pizza oven in the backyard, wood-fired. Yeah, you gotta start it up about 3 hours before you want pizza. But there's been many a time where the kids will say, we want pizza. I'm digging around, it's whole wheat flour this and making sauce out of nothing. This is just a nice, quick, easy sauce to work with. We're gonna get some onions, some garlic, some chili flake. We'll put it all in there, okay? Chop on the onion. Little veg oil down. Okay, so that's looking good. Let me preheat this bad boy. Now here's the key to this. You know, pepperoni has a tendency to kind of sweat a little bit. You know, it's made up of the fat and the meat and it's cased. Well, what happens is when we cook it down, that's what we love about a pizza, is that it cooks the fat out and kind of sits up on top of the pizza, and that's what makes it taste so good. But sometimes it'd be a little too oily. So what I'm gonna do to kind of beat it to its punch is I'm gonna take some of this pepperoni, give a little slice just to start some off, and I'm gonna sweat this pepperoni to help it out and give a little olive oil to do that. And what I'll do is let this get nice and crispy, almost like bacon. So it's gonna have that crispy pepperoni thing we love inside of the dip. Into this, a little bit of garlic. And this is gonna be for my cheese mixture that's gonna go on the bottom of this entire dip. There's a little dice on the garlic, a little cream cheese, 1 egg, some salt and pepper, a little bit of that chili flake, some oregano. Mix that into that cream cheese before I get all of those cheeses in there and make it real tough on myself. Little ricotta cheese and about 2/3 of the cup of that. And then Parmesan, you can't beat the saltiness of that. Now, here's the cheese mixture I have on the bottom of this. Cream cheese, ricotta cheese, and a little bit of the Parmesan cheese. Now this fast tomato sauce or pizza sauce, it's really thickened up. I let it reduce the San Marzanos, the peppers and the garlic. Next, some cremini mushrooms, some onions, and some red bell pepper. Look how nice those mushrooms are in there. Perfect pizza toppings. Now look at this, the pepperoni. I subliminally was forgetting it because I just wanted to keep there as a snacking tray. Those pieces, no, you don't want to put those in here. You want to leave those there. So the pepperoni goes on. Now the fresh mozzarella. Look at this. And here's the cool thing. This dip is ready to go. Just because it's a little bit to the right to the rim, I don't want it to be bubbling over. Lori gets really mad. Okay, we'll throw this down. 350, 15, 20 minutes. We'll let it go. Got some pizza dough, just kind of rolled it out, hit it with a little salt, little oil, cooked it off, and then right into this. Look at that. There's the cremini, the bell peppers, the mushrooms, the onions, the garlic. There's the little ricotta. You can, it's like, again, pizza on a stick. Perfect game day food. Now, this is my last one. I'm doing these jalapeno peppers. They're gonna be going to a stuffed jalapeno pepper. Now, I'm gonna do it with sausage and 3 different cheeses. The ribs are actually the hottest part of this, but I'm making like a little boat inside of this. Now, check that out, okay? Now, I'm using the big jalapenos, and I'm throwing them on this roasting pan, and what I'm gonna do is pop them in the oven for like 5 or 10 minutes and let a little pre-cook go on these, because if I put the sausage and cheese mixture in there, by the time these jalapenos cook to where they're kind of nice and sweet and roasted, it's gonna be forever. I'm using a different variety of cheeses here. I got some mozzarella, of course, Italian, you got me. Little mascarpone, that's the interesting one, and a little Parmesan. If you don't have mascarpone, you can go cream cheese. But I like the mascarpone because we got some peppers here. They're gonna be kind of spicy, yeah. And the mascarpone has a little bit of sweetness to it, so the sweetness of the mascarpone will go along well. So that in a big bowl. Let me see if I'm ready here yet. I'm really about keeping that pan not quite hot enough. You see how it's not giving me a big shh? Cranking the heat all the way, but we'll just wait a second. Let's get the mozzarella down. Now the mozzarella, these cheeses will get mixed together. After I cook this sausage with some red bell pepper and some of the onion, what's gonna happen is we'll let it cool and then we'll mix it together to stuff the peppers. A little bit of Parmesan. That's good. It's about 2 to 1 on the mascarpone to everything else. Now you see a lot of times mascarpone being used in what? Yeah, tiramisu, one of my favorite. You know, I don't have a lot of desserts that I enjoy, but that's really my favorite with the lady fingers. Ah, it's great. Now you see it's a little bit hard, so I'm gonna give it a chance, move it around a bit, just bringing it out of the fridge and just give it a chance to soften up so when I mix it all together. And then I've got this sweet Italian sausage, which I've got some red bell peppers and some garlic and some onions. Cook that down. Now this is kind of about room temperature. The reason is I want to cool it down. Don't want to melt the cheese putting hot sausage in it. And I also don't want to put this hot mixture into these peppers. So I kind of mix this around a little bit. I kept all the cheeses out to kind of let them soften up so I can move them together a little bit easier. Okay, So you get this mixed together. Now grab one of these peppers. Now these peppers, like I said, I popped them in the oven for about 10 minutes to soften them up, also to make them so, you know, it's not so crunchy when you bite into it. By the time this mixture gets hot, because the cheese is gonna melt real quick, sausage is already cooked, so by the time it gets hot, it won't have enough time to cook the pepper. So kind of mold it in like that, not too much cheese, don't want it flowing over and burning on the pan. Kind of a nice little mold like that. So there you go, bunch of them to fill. Little tedious to stuff all these the whole time, but well worth it, especially when you're doing something like poker night. Take a look at them. I'm just gonna put them in. Now what's gonna happen is I've got the oven at 350, but now I'm gonna turn it to broil. Keep it a little bit off of the broiler. If I put it right up underneath there, boom, I'm gonna burn. So I want this to cook it all the way through, or gotta warm it all the way through, but put a nice crust on it. So we'll hit it up to, I think medium broil should work. These jalapeno poppers, look at them. I mean, this is the way they're supposed to be done. You've got mascarpone cheese, you got mozzarella, Parmesan, done with the sweet Italian sausage, some pepper, some onion, some garlic. This right here is some Italian turkey sausage and some ground beef. Just hit it with a little bit of onion, and this is gonna be going for these great Guy-Talian nachos. Let the meat kind of cook down, get nice and brown, a little crisp to it. Just gonna hit a pinch of some garlic. I'm not worried about the garlic burning right now because there's so much moisture in the pan. I'm gonna let this turn the heat down a bit. These are gonna be topped on top of some great Italian nachos. And speaking of great Italian nachos, I need to work on the salsa for that. Capers and peppadews. You know, I love the peppadew. And this kind of sweet, a little bit of heat, but it's gonna be a great basis for this. So some tomatoes, some onions, all gonna go together to make this great Italian salsa. Go ahead and dice these up. Peppadews in the bowl. And to really give this Italian salsa its own little kick, just a touch of that great peppadew liquor that's in there. Next up, tomatoes. A lot of tomatoes, but it is a salsa. Chop those capers up so they're not little briny buds that scare somebody when they get a bite. Next, red onion. And now some parsley. Parsley's done. Okay. A lot of chopping here on Big Bite, I know, but it always makes it worth it. And this going on top of the nachos is gonna be dynamite. Okay, a little more garlic, some salt, fresh cracked pepper, and let's give this a little mix. And a little olive oil on top of that. Not too much, but wow, look at that. Now I'm gonna get into doing some of the, well, it looks like some chips for the nachos here. These are wonton skins. So drop them into the oil, separating them a little bit. Don't wanna put 2 or 3 at the same time. Let's get a few of those in. It's the layers that really make this work. You know, it's not just put down a bunch of chips and clump everything on top. Take the time, stack the chips nicely, get the meat on there evenly, and these are really gonna come out great. So when people grab them, they get one that really has kind of everything to it. All right, these bad boys into the broiler. Now, keep an eye on them because those skins have already been fried. They can go really fast. Oh, looks dynamite. Sprinkle that on the top. Then, like you do in Italian style, gotta have some salami. So julienned up some salami, some green onions, some nice color in there. Of course, some basil, a little Italian parsley, and for some of that fresh bite, how about a little bit of pepperoncini that's diced up? Oh, Excellent. I am going to start on these Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. Now, at Tex Wasabi's, we do an egg roll of the week. And this is one of the first ones we came out. I think this actually started egg roll of the week. And this is where we take all these ingredients that we love. Maybe it's a tequila chicken one week. But the week that I came up with it, it was this. It was Philly cheesesteak. So not exactly how we do a Philly cheesesteak, because I'm putting some, red bell peppers in it and so forth. The greens fly into it. And I have got some roast beef, some really nice thin sliced medium rare roast beef that'll go in. Hit a little bit of salt, touch of pepper, and we're just gonna kind of sweat these, Petey. We're not gonna necessarily get after them in a full caramelized state. Look at this roast beef that I've got here. Now, leftover, I mean, if you've got some prime rib, that's a dynamite. The ribeye is, I think, one of the best pieces of meat that you can use in doing a Philly cheesesteak. So we'll pop this right in on top of that.
You want the wide shred here, right, bro?
Yeah, no, that's fine. We're just gonna, what we're gonna do is the heat that we have going on here with the peppers and onions and the meat, we're gonna kind of mix that around, take that away, put it actually into this strainer setup that I have right here, or we could put it into a kitchen towel and kind of squeeze it. But we don't want all that extra moisture. We roll that up in that egg roll skin and seal it up with a little bit of egg and fry it. And actually, I'm gonna use your oil. What ends up happening is moisture isn't your friend. It kind of starts to come out, kind of breaks. Sometimes we'll actually have an explosion, and you don't want an explosion in your oil, right?
Okay. No way.
I'm just knocking out the finale of my Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. I let it soak here a little bit to get some of the moisture out because we don't want the egg rolls to explode. But I got some pepper jack cheese and some roast beef, red and green bell peppers, a little salt and pepper. Now what I did is I dredged my wonton skin in a little egg wash with some milk there, roll this over from the front, kind of pull it a little tight. Don't want this thing to pop on me. Over that side, and then just give it a little roly roll. The egg wash kind of seals it shut. Bam, we go like that. Oh boy, I took Emerald's line. I don't want to drop too many of them, and I drop them individually so they don't stick together. And I'll have to just kind of move them a little bit. Now, here's a good little technique. If you want to make these egg rolls ahead of time, they will stick. As soon as the dough gets wet or the wrapper gets wet, they'll stick to each other. Little rice flour wrapped around each one, or dusted on it will work great, or a little bit of parchment paper around each one individually. Okay, so Philly cheesesteak egg rolls right here, like we do at Tex Wasabi's. Take a look at those bad boys right there. Today, you get to learn about my signature cheeseburger. You ready? Now, it's just because we're hanging and we're cool that I'm gonna teach you this. You should do me a favor. Don't go telling everybody about it. Just keep it on the DL. First thing we're gonna start off with is, wait for it, donkey sauce. Yes, the infamous donkey sauce. You wanna know how it came about? I was getting ready to make these burgers for some friends of ours. We were putting this burger concept together, and they said, why do you call it donkey sauce? And I said, because if you don't try it, well, you're just a jackass. But thank you very much. That's that's the real name. I'm not kidding you. So here's how we're gonna start it off. First, just a little bit of mayonnaise, some roasted garlic, yellow mustard. I know, you're seeing it all. A little Worcestershire sauce, touch of some salt, cracked black pepper. So everything you love about mayonnaise, the fat, the creaminess, the saltiness, all we did was amp it up and take the flavor another level. That's donkey sauce. All right, donkey sauce is done. What do we need next? The SMC, the super melted cheese. You gotta promise you're not gonna show anybody this. Now, in this pot, I have a little bit of water already going. Now I'm gonna add some half and half. This, we gotta go low and slow. I have some processed cheese, all cubed up, and we're gonna bring this temperature up nice and easy so it doesn't break. We'll go in with a little bit of Worcestershire and just a little kiss of some Tabasco. It's not gonna be hot, but you get the idea. We need to just have a little bit of heat in there, okay? So we're gonna let this go low and slow. And as that processed cheese starts to melt a little bit, we're gonna add in some of my other favorite cheeses. You could go with a double boiler with this. I don't think it's necessary. If you just don't crank the heat, you won't burn it, you won't scorch it. Just take your time. Processed cheese starting to melt a little bit. Now we're gonna back it up with some real cheese. We're gonna get in some smoked Gouda, And again, we shred it really thin and give it a chance to melt nicely. We'll get in with some cheddar, shredded really finely. Whisk would also be a nice thing to do, but as always, I just have one utensil. If I could make this into a knife and a fork and a pair of tongs all at the same time, like a gigantic Swiss Army knife, tell you, I'd be going places. A little provolone. There we go. Now it's really starting to work for us. Beautiful. Now, one of the real keys to this cheese sauce is to hand shred it so you don't get that funky little dust that they put on the outside of the cheese to keep it from coagulating when it's inside the bag. I mean, I'll tell you one thing about buying cheese. Buy that whole block and shred it yourself. We'll just keep the cheese sauce warm. It's ready to go. Beautiful. Okay, next up, the burger. Now, what we have here is 80-20 ground beef. And when we're talking about making great burgers, if I'm getting everybody over and we're gonna do it, I would recommend going to the butcher and saying, grind me up a little bit of brisket, give me some short rib, and give me some chuck. If you're gonna do it right. We've got about 1.5 pounds here, so this should make us about 4 6-ounce patties. My favorite way to do it, just to make sure that we're keeping everybody even, because you know with 2 boys, if you don't make the patties even, someone's gonna be upset that someone got a bigger one. Okay, so we take the patty, we're gonna ball it up. Don't press it super hard. Now, I want you to just I want you to do this at home. I want you to just hit that salt all the way around. Roll that salt all the way around with your favorite kosher salt, and it's seasoned. No pepper, nothing else, just like this. I have my flat top over here, but since I know that you might not have one at home, I want to show you how to do this with a cast iron. If you don't have cast iron, I want you to go get one. Sporting goods stores have them galore. Go to Camp Chef, anybody's got them. But really good cast iron is the way to go, and we're gonna drop this down. There we go, that's what we're looking for, okay? Cold meat hot pan. While that's going, wash my hands real quick. Smash of the patty. Seasoned all the way around. One over the top. Sometimes you'll see people do it with a big hand press. That's what I'm looking for. And you only get to smash it once, folks. Brioche bun. Get a little bit of this garlic butter on there. As soon as we see some of the juice float to the top, we're gonna flip it and try to put it in another spot where it wasn't just exactly at. And that's what we're looking for, that nice crust, that Maillard effect on top. Smoky smells burgers. We're gonna treat both sides of the bun. Now, gotta get this working real quick. Gonna take some of the cheese sauce. This is a little hot, so it's gonna run a bit on us, but you'll get the general idea. When it cools down, it's a little bit easier to apply to it. We're gonna take the cheese sauce, throw it right up on top. Throw the cheese on top. Dome and some water. This steam is gonna help melt that cheese better than any salamander putting it under the broiler. So like this. This is just the exact way we do it in the restaurant. Guy's Kitchen and Bar, Guy's Burger Joint, you go on Carnival Cruise Lines, you watch what they're doing. This is exactly how it goes down. Okay? A little bit of the donkey sauce. Liberally, we call it coast to coast. Want to get that fat all the way across. Hit a few pickles right on the bottom. Pickles are key, gotta have that acid, gotta have that tang. Really thin onions. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. That's melted cheese right on top of it. Thin sliced iceberg lettuce, a couple thin sliced tomatoes, nice toasted brioche bun, and ladies and gentlemen, that's the burger. That cheeseburger right there, we won New York City Food and Wine Festival, Burger Bash. We've sold hundreds of thousands of these. But I want you to take a look at it. Juicy, scratch-made, handmade. My mouth is watering so bad. All right, now what I got going over here, well, I've got some jalapeno peppers, some red bell, and some onions cooking down in a little bit of pancetta bacon fat, as well as some butter. Now, here's a little trick I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna slide this back a little bit, kind of put my burner back here on this side, let the onions hang out over here on this side. When you wanna make a great burger, get some boneless chuck or some boneless sirloin and have the butcher grind it for you and make it. Well, you throw some boneless chuck into this chili, you're gonna be a winner. Okay, run that over right into what I'm showing you here, about a 1/4-inch piece, because it does need to cook down a little bit, but take a look at that. Little nuggets of deliciousness, okay? So these bad boys back into the hot side of the pan. I got some Anaheims and Poblanos that I went through here and roasted and then threw in a bowl covered with plastic, let their own internal temperature sweat their skins off. And this is going all into my Dragon's Breath chili, which you see working right here. Wow, I got some peppers, some boneless chuck, and some onions going down, some jalapenos in there so far. I need to clean this last pepper up and get this skin off of here. Now, saving all that for my compost. And get these in. The roasted flavor of these peppers is really gonna add some depth to this chili. And that's kind of one of the things about my chili is it's got a lot of layers. Slowly cooking the peppers, slowly cooking the onions, getting the garlic in there, kind of letting everything go at its own rate, its own stage. And these get mixed in like this. Now, I've got some Italian sausage here. It's gonna go down. So you're gonna get great flavor out of this from the pork, as well as some fat mixed into it. Fat is flavor. And then look at that, little ground chuck and chili grind, so nice and thick. So got different textures of meat, different layers of peppers, different styles of flavors. There's some real complexity to this. Well, a little granulated garlic, of course, has got to work its way in there. About 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon. A little coriander, can't beat that flavor. There's, like I said, we talk about complexity. Same amount there. Little hot paprika. Now, a lot of times I'm talking about paprika and it just being kind of a smoky paprika or neutral. This has actually got a little bit of kick to it. There's gonna be some of the dimension of heat. We got the jalapeno in there. Little granulated onion, even though we have some in, the granulated will actually carry the flavor further. And a little bit of cumin, cumino. You can't beat it, especially with a little southwestern influence in this chili with some of the roasted poblanos and Anaheims. Okay, everybody in the pool so far. Cayenne, this is where you're getting the big heat from. But I'm not gonna make, with having the boys, Hunter and Ryder, I don't wanna make it too spicy. And a little chili powder. Okay. Now, I deglazed this with some beer, hit a little chicken stock, tomato paste, tomato sauce, kidney beans, pinto beans, everybody in the pool, and let it go low and slow. Look at this, okay? Now, let me just get a little taste on this real quick, because I need to add some salt and pepper. Little fresh cracked black, and a little touch of some salt. Stir that in. This is on point. Okay, so let me actually build this up real quick. I'd like to throw some fries down around the sides. There we go. Get this bad boy in here. Right on top of some of the fries. Hit a little bit of the cheese on top. Some green onion. I'm gonna make a relish that's gonna go on this Danger Dog. What is a Danger Dog? What is a Danger Dog? I'm gonna stuff jalapenos inside of a hot dog and wrap it in bacon and then put this righteous relish on top of it. Say it, righteous relish. Okay, so here's what I did is I broke down half the pineapple, little veg oil. This thing is smoking hot. Okay, on we go with the pineapple. Save a piece for me. Nice little grill marks, not looking to cook it. Just kind of put a little char to it. Take this big spoon. So I took the center seed out. I'm just gonna kind of get this right inside, twist it around, and this is super ripe. Pull all that flesh out. Let's get back to making the rest of this relish that's gonna go on top. So pickle relish, some jalapeno, little Fresno chili or red jalapeno. Fresno's a little bit spicier. Red onion, and some lemon juice, okay? Let's see what we're looking like here. Beautiful. So a little jalapeno. I like the Fresno. I want the heat. Get this jalapeno slices down. Okay. Like that. Bowl. Now we'll get a little bit of lemon juice in there, a little acid from that. A little bit of olive oil. Touch of some salt and pepper. Go. A little bit of the relish. There we go. And some lemon juice. Like this. We'll squeeze. That's a little bit of acid there for it. Lime juice would work great too. You got onions, peppers, a little bit of relish, but to dial it down and calm it down. Kind of stuck mango. Took the core of this out, and that char is going to be perfect. Those are nice and soft. There we go. Okay. That in. This is some nice applewood smoked bacon, and it's super hot. There's the jalapeno. I cut out the round a touch. I got a jalapeno strip, okay? So here's what's gonna happen. These are gonna cook, really just warm up, get all those flavors. We've got a hot dog, all beef dog, stuffed with jalapenos, wrapped in bacon, all put together. Check this out. We're gonna hit some mustard, this killer relish that I made starting off with some relish, some jalapenos, some red Fresno chilies, a little bit of grilled pineapple. Now we'll just hit some mustard on top, your favorite mustard. There's also a little grilled mango in there. Okay, look at this, huh? A little red onion. Now we'll get this delicious, now this had a chance to kind of set up a little bit. Check out the beautiful colors on that. Right on top. So the Danger Dog has got the jalapeno in it, wrapped in the applewood smoked bacon, and then grilled off, kind of give it a chance to render down, kind of, you know, the dogs, you know, they come out of the package, they're kind of soft. This kind of toughens them up a little bit. So you got some great texture. Tell me that doesn't look awesome. Look at that bad boy. Just like I'm in the streets of Tijuana. It's everything. Spicy, salty, sweet. Texas style chili. So a little bit of olive oil, the onions right now. We're gonna use some Anaheims right here, okay? Some red bell, look at that, just sweating up nice. This Fresno chili here, I'm not too worried about the heat on it. Pretty mild, so I'll just give it a couple slices down the front. So far, so good, huh? Okay, add a little bit of salt to it. Let's get into dry chilies. Now, this is really the foundation of this chili. What we're first starting off is with some chili de árbol, which is nice and spicy, the ancho, and guajillo. So now I'm gonna reconstitute them with just a little bit of hot water, okay? I'm gonna do it right there in that pan. And those are gonna go directly into the chili in just a minute. Speaking of the chili, I need to get those peppers and onions out of there because now I have got some top round that I want to brown off. And we're talking about, I don't want it to be interrupted. I really want to build some crust, kind of like we're searing a short rib. So what I want to do is get all these out, because you leave just a little bit of this in there. There's a lot of moisture. It'll keep the meat from really browning up. Look how beautiful, huh? So we'll just hit it with a little touch of some salt, and we'll just drop it, crank that pan back up, right back in. There we go. Nice little sear gonna happen to that. And I also have some ground beef that I'll put in a little bit. I like to have two of the textures. It needs a little bit of this garlic. So I have these reconstituted guajillos, chili de árbol, and anchos, okay? Hit that, a little bit of power, puree it. There we go. We'll dump this right in here on with the meat, in with that garlic that I just added. That's where your real flavor is coming from. Let me drop this in, sweated peppers and onions that we had from earlier. And that all gets mixed together. Look at that. Look, take a look inside of this. Now it's time to go build another layer of seasoning. So I've done some salt and pepper, got the peppers and the garlic. Now we'll do a touch of cayenne, a little oregano, a little bit of cumin. Gotta have a little kiss of cinnamon. 2 quarts of beef stock. We're gonna let this go in here. It's gonna cook down, believe it or not, for 2 hours. Beer cheddar cheese sauce. So start with a roux, a little half and half, not too much half and half because we're adding in a full beer. Nice amber beer, so you're gonna get that deep, rich beer flavor. Drop it in some sharp cheddar, a little touch of cayenne, dry mustard. Gotta have that little tang in there from the dry mustard. A little bit of Worcestershire, a little touch of paprika. Okay, so let that go. Get some cream cheese. We got beer, we've got chili. We'll lay that right in like that. And we'll just let this go low and slow till it breaks up that cream cheese. There we go. Okay, but what I want to do right now, I want to get a little bit of beer and I want to get a little bit of masa harina. And I also want to add a little bit of paprika. There we go. So we're going to mix this up. So we'll just slowly incorporate this in. And this is going to work as an awesome thickener. It kind of plays right into the theme of Texas and chili and Tex-Mex. You take a look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me that is not gorgeous. Right on top there. Look at that. Reminds me of my days of peeling potatoes. Did something bad in the kitchen. You're the one that got to peel them all. Okay, but this is worth it because this is going for some dynamite fries. Actually, I call them double cut fries. What happens is I take the skin off the center here, leave a little bit on the ends, cut these bad boys down. I'll make a little area that I can balance my potato off, taking a piece off the back, then slicing it about 3/8 of an inch all the way through. Stack up just a couple pieces. Don't want to manage too many of them sliding around on each other. Give it an equal cut on that side. And there you go. Almost a perfect looking fry. Check that out. Okay? So we pop these into some water, leach out some of that starch. So we should be running right around 320, 315 to around 330. We're good. And I got some oil going that I'm going to throw these fries into. I'm going to do a double fry, as I called it. Oil and water scare me. Okay? Let me get some towels. Now, what happens here is the first time I cook these, I'm really just kind of cooking the potato. I'm not really going for a browning. That's what's kind of misunderstood, I think, when people are making French fries at home. They think, well, I'll just take the fries and I'll just throw them in there. And, well, they turn brown, so they're done. And then they're kind of soft in the middle. It's kind of like baked potato-y in the middle. And the idea that we're looking for is it takes a lot to cook a French fry and pull that moisture out to get the crisp. They may look nice and brown on the outside, but they're going to be a little bit soggy. This is how you're going to fight that. So take this here, put them down. Don't want to put water into that if we don't have to. Shake some off, okay? Give them a little dry. Somewhat dry, okay? Now we're gonna go and throw them in, kind of cook them through. We'll pull them out, let them cool down, and then we'll fry them again, and that's when the crunch will go on. So watch your hands. And this temperature's a little bit lower. We're gonna be up into the 350, 360 range when we do the potatoes for the crunch. Now, don't overload this, because one of the things we wanna remember is about the temperature. What temperature is this recovering to? You know, if you put too many things into your oil, or if your vessel that you got your oil in can't retain its own heat, well, it drops down, and that's when things kind of get soggy and real oily tasting. Okay, there we go. Let those bad boys hang out. Now, the fries, well, I've cooked them to where they're done. So that's a cooked potato. Now what? I've let them cool. Now what I'm going to do is take the potatoes, put them back into the oil. The oil temperatures come back. It's what we call recovered. So now I'm going to take them, throw them back in at 350. There we go. In small batches, not too much. Throw them back in at 350. This is where that nice golden crunch is going to come in. These are just about done. Now these are the twice fry on the potato. Remember, I cut some russets. Took the skins off the side, left them on the end so they look, you know, kind of restaurant style. Got these bad boys, fried them once, let them cool down, then fried them again, and that's where the crunch comes from. Shut down the thermal reactor right there. Hit a little salt while they're hot so the salt kind of melts right into them. And then just shake them onto that platter. You know, you can't just do macaroni and cheese. I'm gonna do Mac Daddy macaroni and cheese. Some shallots go down. and a little bit of garlic. Now, this is one of my favorite ways to handle garlic and to handle shallots, is to kind of slow roast them. When you slow roast them, you kind of bring out that sweetness that you really love about it. People say, oh, I don't like garlic, it's so bitter, it's so, because you probably had it the wrong way. Come over here to Daddy Dr. Garlic, and I'll help you out. Okay? All right. So we get those together in a little bit of a tent, hit it with a little olive oil. Actually, I like to throw a little salt and a little pepper in there too. Kind of sealed up, not super, super tight. Check it out. And down we go on a pan. Kind of a nice little Easter basket-y thing. Okay, in about 325, 20 minutes or so. Now, while that's going and getting nice and caramelized, let me get some bacon and some heavy cream, and this is gonna be kind of the beginning and start. Was it the cream? You all big cream fans? I like that. You didn't strike me as cream fans, but okay, always check it too. I'll tell you a great story. One time I'm making fettuccine, Cajun chicken Alfredo, or actually it was tequila turkey fettuccine, and we got the, because I always get those mixed up. And we asked my buddy's wife to stop, it was not his wife anymore actually, but we asked her to stop and get the cream for us, the heavy cream. And it was actually the sweetened heavy cream. So make an Alfredo sauce with that. And my buddy that's watching this right now is dying that I said that. But just keep it between us and the other 400 million people watching this. Okay, now I'm going low and slow on the bacon because I really want to render down the fat and get some nice crispy bacon because I'm going to pile that on top of this mac, daddy and cheese. That's all I can sing. Okay, so here's the deal. The tenders are working, the cream's going down, the bacon's cooking. I salt the water, I add the pasta. When you come back, it's Mac Daddy mac and cheese, and the party continues. See you in a minute. Okay, shallots and garlic. Hot, 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 hot. And don't tell me you don't do that at home. Okay? Now, the bacon's gonna work in two different ways. One, it's gonna be a nice crunchy topping. And two, it's gonna work as the base of my, my roux that's going to work with my cream to tighten up to make my cheese sauce. Yes. I know you're all... Bacon, cheese sauce? Yeah, my middle name. Okay. Open those bad boys up, get that garlic out. This is a great way to do it. I'll tell you, if you take some garlic like this whole thing I did with the shallots, and go ahead and make a spread out of it and put it on top of some bread and hit a little fresh Roma tomatoes on top of that. You will love it. Who took my knife? That one's... Turkey Man took it? It's getting close to your day, isn't it? Okay. Give these a quick little chop up. Talk amongst yourselves. Your favorite turkey recipe? These go in. Now, so I've got some hot oil. I got the shallots and garlic. They're doing their time. Let's get over with a little bit of flour. Why do you keep putting these over here? What's your... I don't know what your problem... I mean, the whole time. Okay, a little bit of flour goes down. Make some roux. Try not to ruin... No, I'm sorry. I'm not even going to say it. I let it go. Come on. Halfway through, I let it go. Okay? Now... Here we go. We get this down. Now, we could put a little color on this if we want, kind of darken it up if we were doing a gumbo or something. But right now, I'm making it kind of blonde. Now, I'm going to hit him with some cream. Now, the cream's been doing some thyme. That I can do. Okay? Let me scoop that thyme out of there. Get that out of the way. Okay, now what's happened here is it's reduced by about a third. Now, adding the warm cream in right now is kind of the kicker. If you put in the cold cream on top of the flour, that's when you, well, you don't know why you get mystery dumplings in your gravy. Okay, so just a little at a time, right in on top of that. And this works as the bridge to adding in our cheese. So people make mac and cheese and they say, well, as soon as I heat my cheese up in the microwave, as soon as I heat it up in the microwave, I don't have anything against microwaves. But as soon as you heat up the microwave, it all kind of tightens up so much. You get that big clump at the bottom of the fondue pot. It's because you push the cheese too fast and it kind of tightens up and forms into a ball. So, there we go. Done with this guy. You know the movie? Done with this guy. All right, now we get a little pepper jack. Jack cheese works great at... Members of the Pepper Jack Society over here. So we get the cheese in, get a little cheddar in. Again. I'm gonna save just a little, forget it, everybody. Like we're watching our diet today. Okay, stir this up into here. Just kind of get it coated with that. Let me get a little salt and pepper down on it. There we go. There we go. Okay, now reach over. Hot, hot, yeah. Let that drain out a second. Try not to drop it. Now, I like to use penne in mine. I'm not a big, I like to use the elbow macaroni when I'm making mac salad. But this right here, this has got some real nice texture to it. So the penne is my way to go. Rigate, with the edges on it, so it holds some sauce. Okay, so we mix that around. Now, man, I've got every utensil I own out. Let's see here, clear a landing spot, somebody. Down into the dish. Now, this is already cooked. Oh, I know. I'm crying inside. Good call. Little panko on top. There we go. We're gonna hit a little bit of parsley on top of that for some great color. What do you think with that bacon? You think I should do time with that? Absolutely. A little bit of bacon. There we are, and I got some olive oil here. Now what's gonna happen, I'm gonna pop this in the oven about 350 for about 20 minutes and let that brown up nice. But believe it or not, I got another one. And one of the things I like about Off the Hook is you all get to eat some of it.